We will now have the national anthem played by saxophonist Mark Felton, followed by the Negro National Anthem sung by vocalist Brooke Brewer. Thank you very much, Brooke Brewer and Mark Felton. Please join me in welcoming City Controller Ron Galperin.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome again to your Los Angeles City Hall. I'm Ron Galperin, Controller for the City of LA. That does not mean, by the way, that I control everything, but I'm working on it. And it's really an honor to be here to spotlight some amazing individuals this morning and our Authors Study Club. For 74 years, our Authors Study Club has researched, preserved, interpreted, disseminated information about African American life and history and culture. It's really vital and faithful work. And here we are living in an age of these days where it seems to all about be tweets and about texts and about our devices. And what we all need to do is find time to actually read a book every now and then and to actually learn more about our history, our collective history. And African American history is American history and vice versa. So my challenge, by the way, yes, you can clap for that. Excellent. So my challenge, by the way, for all of us, including myself this morning, is that sometime during this Heritage Month, we actually find a meaningful book about African American history and actually spend some time really reading it and absorbing it. And that we have these amazing libraries in the city of Los Angeles that we are so proud of. Check them out. And we have here also our Department of Cultural Affairs, which does incredible work. And they've created a whole series of events and a whole series of places where you can really explore and really take in such a vibrant and amazing history and culture. So my challenge to all of us, including myself, is pick one of those events to go to and go. And we can all learn and we can all be a part of it. Now, today, there are 4 extraordinary individuals who are being honored. And they really represent what I think to be the 4 pillars of a meaningful society: education, justice, culture, and business. And we have, of course, Dr. Wanda Austin, who is the interim president of USC, representing that pillar of education and bringing education to so many young people. We've got the Honorable Kevin Brazil from our Superior Court, helping to bring justice to all Angelenos. We have, of course, Phoebe Winans, who is a pillar of culture for all of us. And then, of course, Ken McNeely, who is a critical pillar of business. And all of these 4 pillars, they hold up not only the legs of a chair or the legs of a desk or a table, but they hold up our very society. So it's an honor to be with all of you here today at your City Hall, at our City Hall. Have a wonderful time. Thank you so much to everybody who organized this. And by the way, thank you so much also to Mike Davis. Please give it up for him. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wise words, Mr. Galperin. Our invocation will be given by Bishop Craig Worsham.
Tell the person next to you, you really look good today. Now clap for yourself, because you know you look good. Let us bow our heads. Out of our weary years, out of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far along the way. God, today we thank you as you have given us the opportunity to experience the levee of love that you have for us. Thank you for bringing us in this moment as Angelenos together to commemorate African American Heritage Month. God, you have brought us from slave ships to having those who now occupy the seat on the bench of justice and law. You have brought us from the slave ships to now having those in our midst who are Grammy Award winners. You have brought us from slave ships to experience those who now serve as executive of major corporations. Thank you for your love. Thank you for every individual that is assembled in this space today as we commemorate our heritage and our history. Oh God, never allow us to forget from where we have come from. Now, Lord, for the person to my left and to my right, would you watch over them, comfort their hearts, strengthen their physical bodies, bless their entire household, and we praise you for everything that you have done for us. Life, health, strength, family, career, and most of all, the love of your dear Son, Jesus. We thank you today for it. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop. I'd like to now bring to the stage LAPD's new Chief of Police, Chief Michael Moore.
Leslie, thank you. Can we give her a hand? Good morning, everybody. It is an absolute honor to speak on behalf of 13,000 men and women of LAPD in celebrating the African American Heritage Month, as well as celebrating the accomplishments and the well-deserved recognition of our awardees here today. Just a few remarks because I stand between you and lunch. I stand between you and lunch as part of this ordeal, and that's always a dangerous position. I recognize my tactics, but I want to make a couple points. One of which is that in our national anthem today and the Star Spangled Banner, we've talked about home of the brave and the home of the free and land of the brave. And the Negro anthem spoke about the hope that today has brought. And too often times in the busy hustle and bustle of life, we do forget about our heritage and we do forget about our past, both the challenges as well as the opportunities and what our achievement has been. This is the home of the brave, the land of the free. Yet over our history, we have seen that has not always borne out itself. And particularly in the African American community, where you have struggled to be recognized and to be honored and respected as an individual. And I stand here as a chief of an organization that this past Saturday we honored our legacy of African American men and women within LAPD, because we have much of the same history, where our young men and women today, it bears fruit for us to look back and remember that in LAPD's history, just in the early 60s was the first time we desegregated our department. That even then, it took us generations to appoint leadership within our organization of African American, well-qualified individuals. We had a mayor of the city as a lieutenant within LAPD that broke a barrier, but still could not break the next barrier. So our heritage is important for us to remember the trials and tribulations and the champions that changed that course of action. Champions of all makes, of all backgrounds, of all origins, that have contributed to this land of the free and the home of the brave. And in today, as we move forward, I'll close by saying that I do believe that today brings us hope. That the hope for equality, the hope for respect and dignity of each individual, regardless of their origin, regardless of their sexual orientation, their political view, they are Americans. And as Americans, as chief, I assure you, our men and women are out there to protect you, to recognize those rights and respect them, and to do everything possible to ensure that we remain the land of the free. God bless you. Have a wonderful day and enjoy this great moment as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Moore. In 1949, the Los Angeles African American Heritage Month Committee was established with the mayor of Los Angeles to tell the positive stories about contributions that African Americans made to society. Today, helping to continue that legacy are the current members of Our Authors Study Club. I would like the members of Our Authors Study Club to please stand. Thank you for your service to the city of Los Angeles and to the African American community. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the president of Our Authors Study Club, Miss Ernestine Gordon.
It is indeed a pleasure, as you hear me say year after year, to celebrate the history of African Americans. Why do we celebrate? Because someone told us that we weren't worthy, because someone told us we had nothing to contribute. But yes, we do, and we must remember that. We could not get our history written. And so our founding father, Carter G. Woodson, started the Association for the Negro History, Life, and Culture. But of course, you know, it evolved to African American because it's really very important that we all remember our history. I was very impressed with Chief Mike Moore for sharing the history and the reality of what has transpired in the police arena in breaking the barriers. I appreciate that kind of truth, that kind of reality, because you can't change anything if you're not admitting that there are things that need to be changed. And then I admire Mike Fuhrer, city attorney, for sharing in the chambers a few minutes ago about the 400 years. Well, 2019 represents a commemoration that was done by Bobby Scott, Congressman Bobby Scott, last year, commemorating 2019, 400 years of African American perseverance. And what you hear and what you see year after year are the achievements of people that, in spite of being brought here against their will, on the colony at that time of Virginia, and from there to having a black president, breaking all barriers, achieving no matter what, pushing forward. That's perseverance. We have to teach our children to persevere. We have to remind each other to persevere. So it's also, as we look at this year, the theme is Black migrations. But with Black migrations, we have to persevere. And when our forefathers moved from the South, farms, to the cities for a better way of life, from the West to get employment after the 13th Amendment was passed in 1816, or moving to the West for employment. We have to remind our kids, and we have to pass it on, because you can't allow those children, our children, to think that everything was like this without a struggle, without someone sacrificing, making a sacrifice for them to live in the hills, for them to buy those 200 pair of shoes, for them to go to this school, go to that school. They need to realize, not make them feel bad, but that they are enlightened, that they acknowledge, and that they appreciate their history. We have to do that. So that is the theme of Black migrations, and we ask that you would join us in writing up your migration. How did you get here? Where did you come from? What caused you to come to Los Angeles? But also, I should have started off with this, and that is to thank Dr. Mike Davis, Commissioner, for working with us for the last 4 years in establishing this wonderful celebration. And we are excited about all the activities that are going on. I want to also thank the General Manager, Danielle Brazil, and William Montoya of the Department of Cultural Affairs, because they continue to work with us in the calendar, and those will be given out to you at the end, I believe, of the celebration. But it always warms my heart, because I see the Mayor, Eric Garcetti, different ones, they know, and Mr. Ron, who shared about the history. They know the history. And so we have to know each other's history in order for us to move forward. And so I want to just thank them for their input. Our Art Study Club members, would you please raise your hand one moment? Okay, are you a fan? But I do want to let you know that because it's not a sad moment, but because our President Emeritus, Dr. Genevieve Shepard, passed away December the 27th of 2018, and she had been a member of this organization for over 40 years, and she always did the bus tour. She did so many things. She taught at one of the Southern California Tom Bradley Academy. She also did the tour, and so she's done a lot for the community, a speaker. So we have established a educational scholarship in her name that we will be giving to deserving high school students. Also, I just want to say one last thing, and that is when we talk about migration and what it's all about, Robert John F. Kennedy wrote a book, that A Nation of Immigrants. It's a good book to read. As Ron was sharing, that pick up a book and read it. We think that immigration is new. It's not new. It's always been, we all came from someplace else. So we want you to, I wanted to share that with you. And also, our founding father, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, wrote a book in 1918 called A Century of Negro Migration. So where we came from is very important, and we want to make sure that you share that with your kids. I want to take a few minutes to honor our General Chair for our 2019 Black History Month of our Art Study Club, Mr. Kevin Cohee Sr. Would you please stand? Mr. Cohee is the owner, chairman, and chief executive officer of One United Bank. But he's not only a businessman. You should see his history. He's also a lawyer. Isn't that right? So we're really pleased. And so what I say that to so many of you have a great amount of history, have done so many things, and so everybody needs to be celebrated, and that's what we want to do. So I say God bless you, and continue to come to celebrate Black history.
Very wise words, Ms. Gordon. Thank you so much for that. In Los Angeles for 25 years, the Little Miss African American Scholarship Pageant has been a program which helps to build confidence, awareness, and pride in young African American girls. And it is my pleasure, there she is, to introduce the 2018 Little Miss African American. Her name is Nazarene El Shabazz, and she will share a poem with us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Eric Garcia. will be reciting the Black Statue of Liberty poem by Jessica Carr Moore. I stand still above an island, fish straight in the air, scar on my face, long braids in my hair, battle boots tied, red blood, and tears that I've cried. Tourists fly from all over just to swim near my tide, or climb up my long flight of stairs, but they trip over their shoestring lives. Piece by piece, they brought my body to this country, and now that I'm here, your people don't want me? I'm a symbol of freedom, but I'm still not free. I suffer from class, race, and gender inequality. I wear a crown of knowledge, cause I'm a consequence queen. My mask is one of happiness, though my history here is full of misery. Done deliberating. I am America's true Black Statue of Liberty. You placed the Bible under my arm after you ripped me of my faith and made me pray to a fictional imposter? So if you are trying to maintain liberty, too late, cause you just lost her. Her torch is about to serve in the nightlight of truth, in the slums and the ghettos that you find so uncouth. Education will be delivered not by the tree, but by the root. So little black girls and boys will check their pockets to spirituality rather than loot. Cause liberty is all Mother Nature, although you don't love her, she'll never hate you. She's earth, wind, and fire, turning all weeds into flowers. Look into my innocent brown eyes and make a blind man see. How dare you name a Eurocentric girl after me? Asara Shakur, Barbara Jordan, Nikki Giovanni, and Angela Davis. Look it up. These are true symbols of liberty. Cause that stone-faced French woman ain't gonna save us. The same people who enslaved us. I'm sitting at the back of the bus cause I feel like it. And I play ball not cause you pay me to dunk it, dribble it, or hike it. I'm taking all of my people back home and breaking them mentally free. So no statue in the Big Apple can mess with me. Cause I'm the walking, talking, breathing, surviving, beautiful Black Statue of Liberty.
At that black girl magic right there. Little Miss African American. Have a wave. Very good. We loved it. Thank you so much for that. That was beautiful. Now, since we last met, we have lost a few giants in the music world that we will never forget. Among them is a piano player from Ohio who was drafted by Quincy Jones to sing. He performed just once before a packed audience, and he nailed it. James Ingram was a huge success. And today, we present Mr. Ellis Hall, an internationally acclaimed musician and Ray Charles protege who will help us remember.
How are y'all today? I said, how are you today? I celebrate, and again, I got to call him a very close dear friend. And as we see, though his physicality left, the spirit lingers on. Compliment what you do. Send her roses just because. Yeah, if it's violins she loves, let them play. Dedicate her favorite song. Hold her closer. Hold love her today. Find 100 ways. Can I get a witness, somebody? Don't forget, there could be an old lover in her memory. If you need her so much more, why don't you say, yeah, maybe she has in her mind that she's just wasting her time. Ask her to stay, find 100 ways, and I'll take it to the bridge. Being cool, won't out looking for love for, you just blow your only chance. Take the time to open up your heart. It's a secret of romance. Under moonlight to where if you promise all she was all the way. In her eyes at night, she reflects she wants you sweet dance of dancing. She wants to pay. Find 100 ways. Can I play for y'all good people? Hey. She wants to pay it. Find 100 ways. She better believe it, for love today. Find 100 ways. Can I say you want like I'm eating? I'm telling you, love today. Find 100 ways. God bless y'all.
Mr. Ellis Hall, brilliant! Brilliant! Thank you.
This song is Mike Davis's favorite song. But I can imagine Aretha singing this song and telling you no matter what, she's gonna make the show happen for you. She's here.
Well, come on right here, please, ma'am. But I'm serving these people over here that want you, okay? Go. Man, I got you. Okay, you got
To make you laugh, I'll be a fool for you. Commands. I would give my everything to keep you, boy. It breaks my heart when you're not there. We'll stage a ballet on a tabletop. Commence performance shine, shine. And although I ain't got no tune, my show ain't gonna fly. We'll find the music there in your eyes, eyes. Oh, me, oh, my. I'm a fool for you, baby. Oh, me, oh, my. I'm crazy, baby. Oh, me, oh, my. Oh, I'm a fool for you, baby. Come on, let your love light shine on me, yes. We'll blow a genie from a cigarette, and then we'll take a magic carpet ride. Yes, we will. And I tell my smoky friends, oh, hey, don't you forget, we gotta keep you, oh yes, shine, oh, shine, oh, me, oh, my. How many of you know this song? I'm a fool for you, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, me, oh, my. Oh, you know that I'm crazy for you, baby. Oh, me, oh, my. Oh, I'm a fool for you, baby. Come on, let your light shine on me, yeah. Come on, let your light shine on me, baby. Shine on me. Come on, let your light shine. Oh, on me, oh, my. I'm a fool for you, baby. Oh, me, oh, my. See, don't you know that I'm crazy for you, baby? Oh, me, oh, my. I'm a fool for you, baby. Come on, let your love light shine on me, yes. Come on, won't you do that? Come on, let your love light shine, shine on me. Come on, let your love light shine. Oh, yeah. Come on, let your love light shine on me. On me, yeah.
Wayne Gibbs. Let's hear it.
And we will remember James Ingram, and we will remember Aretha Franklin and what they offered to American culture. Today, it is a thrill for me to present outstanding achievers that were honored before City Council today, and it is also a pleasure for me to present these honorees to you. The first is in the field of law, and all of us know, just starting out, how difficult it is to be able to embrace the rigors of law school. Nonetheless, the practice of law, and even more so, involved in the judiciary. We have one such outstanding Los Angelinos. Okay, gotcha. I can't do two mics at the same time. And this individual lawyer, who has been excellent in all of the work that he has done, has made us proud. He historically is the first African American presiding judge of the Los Angeles Superior Court. Ladies and gentlemen, our honoree this year in law, the Honorable Kevin Brazil, presiding judge of Los Angeles Superior Court. On behalf of the city of Los Angeles, once again, congratulations on your outstanding achievement.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who's here. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles County, lived here my whole life, went to UCLA, undergraduate law school. So go Bruins, because I know the Trojans in the house. I gotta give that shout out. But today is a day of pride for me, because living in Los Angeles my whole life, I never thought I would have been at this stage. And I'm so delighted to be here, so proud, so humble. But it's a testament to the number of people who have helped me throughout my life. And as I said earlier, it takes a village for someone like me to get to this point. It's taken 100 years for Los Angeles to get an African-American presiding judge, which sometimes things take a little bit longer than you might expect. But I'm so happy that it's happened. I'm so happy for my colleagues on the court who elected me to this position a few years ago, who supported me, the outstanding work, the hard dedication, making sure we have justice, making sure the phrase equal access to justice has meaning. And I am just so thankful for everything that this city has brought to me, has been to me, and all the people who've been a part of my life. I want to give a special thanks to Mayor Derek Garcetti for his leadership in our city. I also want to thank Mike Davis for everything that he's done. I've known him for years. He's been a mentor. He's been a friend to me. He's been a role model. So Mike, thank you. I just want to and I must say, just seeing all of you here brings joy to my heart. Leslie Sykes, but I know her, so she's a colleague. So tell her I said hello. But really, I am truly honored, so grateful, and very humble for this award, and I will do my best, I promise you that, to represent the city, to make sure we have justice, to make sure our system works, to make sure our laws have meaning. And again, you are my village, you are my backbone, you are my support. God bless you all. Thank you.
Next, it is my honor to recognize in the business and corporate world a man who has worked very hard. He went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and also to a historically black college, HBCU as you call them, Howard University. But more importantly, during the time in which I served in the state legislature from 2006 to 2012, he was an ever-present, strong corporate interest in the state of California in terms of communication. He is the first African-American to be a regional president over 19 states in the world of AT&T. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you our corporate achiever, Ken McNeely.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for this wonderful honor. It's so important for us to be able to celebrate our heritage. We know that African American history is American history, and American history is African American history. The two are inseparable. It's such an honor for me to be here to receive this on behalf of the business community. We know that we have an obligation to give back. As I mentioned in the chamber before to Mike, when Mike was in Sacramento, I really stood on the shoulders of giants. If it were not for people like Mike and others, it would not be possible for me to be able to stand in the position that I stand today. So with much thanks, Mike Davis, thank you so much. Thank you for this honor. Thank you for your contributions, and we move forward together. Thank you.
also, I will say for each of the honorees from the California State Legislature, we have certificates as well from the Democratic Caucus Chairman, Assemblyman Mike Gibson, and his representative, the city field rep, will be coming to your tables and presenting these to you as well to frame for your wall. So we appreciate you at all levels of government, just not in the city, but also in the state of California as well. So thank you so much for your achievement. Also, Holly Walcott, our city clerk, who's here. I'd like to recognize her. We have women in leadership in the state of California. The city of Los Angeles. That was something. It is really an honor that we have all come together to honor a great person in gospel music today. Many of us have listened to his music along with his sister. And I want to start off the tribute to B.B. Winans. You have heard B.B. with his extraordinary baritone voice, and he has that little extra something when he sings a song that we can all feel. And today we have people in gospel music throughout Los Angeles who are going to tribute him. Prior to B.B., we had a man in this town called James Cleveland. And back in the 60s when B.B. and I were growing up, this man really put the cornerstone on it. And he had a group called the Gospel Music Workshop of America. Is that right? It's called the Gospel Music Workshop of America. I remember growing up when I was real small, and my father and mother would be going to church, and our neighbors across the street would play it up to the maximum. And it would be Peace Be Still. And that was my first song that I learned in church. But I am proud to tell you to pay a tribute to B.B. today in the traditional gospel way. We have the Gospel Music Workshop of America. Let's hear it with Reverend Calvin Rome and the Gospel Music Workshop of America. artists I discovered along the way, they worked, believe it or not far from Charlotte, North Carolina, where I grew up. So BB and CeCe were working at PTL, quite actually. And I ended up coming to Los Angeles. BB ended up being a millionaire. Some 30 years later, I'm just trying to get to 100, come on. I should have gone down the street to PTL to sing. Funny how life turns out. One of the first songs that BB and CeCe did was a popular song because his big boss at PTL said, well, BB and CeCe, let's do something popular to bring the public into the word and to inspire them to get involved. Let's be up to date. And so the first song was Up Where We Belong, that was popularized on the PTL network. And so here to reflect on BB's journey is Chris Bolden. Chris has done a lot of work with popular artists such as Shaka Khan and Mary Mary, and he is a minister of music and New Journey Church of God in Christ. So here to reflect upon BB's early work is Chris Bolden.
Know what tomorrow brings in a world where few hearts survive. All I know is the way I feel, and if it's real, I'm gonna keep it alive. I know the road it's very long. There are mountains in our way, but yet we'll climb each step higher every day. Hey, Lord, lift us up where we belong, where the eagles fly on a mountain high. God lift us up where we belong, far from the world we know, where the clear winds blow. Some hang on to what used to be, living their lives, looking behind. All we have is here right now. The road is so very long. Oh, there are mountains in our way, but we're climbing step higher every day. Lord, lift us up where we belong, where the eagles lie on the mountain high. Lord, lift us up where we belong, far from the world we know, where the clear winds blow. from the world we know, where the clean winds blow. Love lift us up where we belong. God bless you.
Mr. Chris Walden. And like most great artists, BB is known to do covers as well. One cover he did, we all remember on many of the special shows, was a song written by Donnie McClurkin, or at least performed by Donnie McClurkin off of Stand. And here to reflect on BB's performance of Stand is Pastor Desmond Pringle. And I think he told me he was from South Carolina, so you got a lot of the South coming out for BB today.
If there ever was a time we all need to be mindful and conscious of this message to stand, these are days to stand. Amen. I'm ready. I'm going to ask GMWA to help me. Come on, let's look at church. When you've done all you can, seems like it's never enough. Tell me, what do you say when your friends turn away and you're alone? You're alone. When you've given your all, it seems like you can't make it through. You just stand when there's nothing left to do. You just stand and watch the Lord see you through. Yes, after you've done all you can, you just stand. Tell me the guilt of your past. Tell me, how do you deal with the shame? Tell me, how do you smile when your heart has been broken and filled with pain? Filled with pain. What do you do when you've done all you can and it seems like you can't make it through? You just stand when there's nothing left to do. You just stand and watch the Lord see you through. Yes, after you've done all you can, you just stand and be sure to be not entangled with bondage again. You just stand and be sure God has a purpose. God has a plan. Tell me, when you've done all you can and it seems like you can't make it through, you just stand. Stand. Don't you hold on. Be strong. God will step in and it won't be long. Through the storm, stand through the rain, stand through the hurt, stand
I just got this final thing to tell you about BB. BB is the baby boy in the family and the seventh son. And so if you've never seen the play, there's a play called Born for This that is going to be on Broadway. And in that play comes a reflection of who BB is, the seventh son of his mother in the Winans family. The lady who sings it, Nina Whitaker. You remember her because she did her Golden Globe winning performance in the movie What's Love Got to Do with It? She's been an actress in Hollywood for over 20 years, a former honoree here in the city of Los Angeles. But if you've not seen Born for This, and I know most of you have not, fly out to New York when it hits and make sure that we buy those tickets. But in case you have not seen it, you will get a thrill after seeing and hearing Miss Nina Whitaker from the play Born for This, written by our honoree, BB Winans.
Mike? Woo! Hi. Hi, what a beautiful morning. Warmed up just for you, BB. I was invited about 4 years ago to participate in a reading of a new musical called Born for This that BB Winans and Charles Randolph Wright had co-written, and BB, of course, had done the music. It has been a journey. And the play, the musical, is a journey of BB's spiritual, emotional, and personal life. And it speaks to us on many levels because BB's music has spoken to us, not just in the gospel world, but it has transcended and become music for all people. And that's what's so beautiful about your work. This song, BB wrote so beautifully. I'm so blessed I get to sing it every night when we do the play. It is the prayer that my mother prayed for me. And it is the prayer that BB's mother continues to pray for him. And it is the prayer that every parent prays for their child. So even though it says seventh son, this could be your only daughter or your second born or your twins. This is the prayer. And prayer is what has sustained us as a people. And so this song to me is a gift. And I thank you for writing it and for me having the great blessing of singing it. Seventh son. He's my seventh son. Oh, what a joy. And I'm so proud of him, my baby boy. And although he's lost his way, please protect him, Lord, I pray. Your will be done for my seventh son. Always last in line, family clown. Sometimes would complain about those hand-me-downs. Give the shoes right off his feet to anyone he saw in need. Now to you, Lord, I come for my seventh son. And I pray you'll take him higher and much farther than he can dream. And I pray you'll make him stronger, fulfill his hunger to succeed. Help me to believe your will be done for my seventh son. Even very young, he's always been not afraid to fail. Mom, that's how you win. Thank you, Lord. For my 7 sons.
Miss Nita Whitaker, born for this. Someone asked me, is that Dave Cause at BB's table? Yeah, that's Dave Cause. Say hello to everybody, Dave. Also at BB's table is one of the distinguished theologians in our country, but particularly here in the state of California. The right bishop, Bishop Kenneth Holman. And I could not think of a better person to come up and to present BB the Living Legend Award. The Honorable Bishop Kenneth Holman. He's also a musician, ladies and gentlemen.
Just before we go, let's take a moment and give a round of applause for these musicians who have been playing in the cold and in the wind. I am honored to be here on this special day. And I am honored to be BB's Los Angeles pastor. Now I know a whole lot of y'all think y'all are a lot of us in here. We got pastors all over from the Atlantic to the Pacific. But it's an honor. Lake Eugene Peterson paraphrased the passage in Paul that typifies true ministry. And he said, it's when God places us on a stage in a theater where no one wants to buy a ticket. Real ministry is. It's when God places you on a stage in a theater no one wants to buy it. And it is only when the power and the presence of God fills that one on that stage that God gets glory, his kingdom is edified, and the devil is horrified. And so we've come to celebrate a man who stands all of his life on the stage, representing his God, displaying his gifts, and inspiring generations to come. And so we celebrate him in the great tradition of the legendary Dr. Thomas Dorsey, the legendary Mahalia Jackson, the legendary Reverend James Cleveland, who receives the baton and passes the baton to the next generation. Help me praise God for the one and only. Praise God, the one and only, BB Winans.
Thank you, thank you. He said it, I tell you. I am always honored to come to Los Angeles. I will be very brief. I, first of all, thank like the other honorees, I honor you all as well. I've been honored to be placed in such great company. To the mayor, what a wonderful moment this has been, and it's been because of his dedication to not only this city but to the world. City Council, thank you for this award, and my friend Mike, thank you. You've been a friend for a long time, and you will continue to be that friend that pours into my life. I have so many friends and so many people who have made a difference in my life. I want to first thank my bishop, Kenneth Palmer. He's just a smart man. He's just a smart man, and he's smart also because he chose a very smart woman. First Lady, I love you. And I always go because, but before I go, I call him to make sure he's in town and he's not in, Dubai and there's other places, teaching and bringing God's love to God's people. And so I honor him. Very funny last night, yesterday morning, I got a phone call, a text from Bishop Palmer saying, I'll be there in about a minute. I'm a little bit late, I was at the doctor's office, but I'll be there. And I called him, I said, Bishop, don't come, it's tomorrow. Don't come today, it's tomorrow. That shows his friendship. To these wonderful singers, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Such talent, and I appreciate your time. And you sit there and you listen to the journey, and it just encourages you to look back and see what God has done with your life just by saying yes. I would like to thank great friends who are here. And let's start with St. Louis, since Bishop Palmer is from St. Louis. Mr. Dave Stewart, I love you. Every time you walk into the room, it just causes me to stand taller. And so to have you here today means a lot to me, and you know that, Pastor Terry, you are a gift that has been given to me. And when I am in St. Louis, that's my pastor, St. Louis. And everyone who came from St. Louis, I thank you so very much. To Ron Gillier, I've been knowing Ron for a long time, and I knew when we started this journey with Born for This, which all of you, some of you, came to the play when we were here in Santa Monica, and we're going to make that journey this year to Broadway. He's a big God, and I was taught to think big, but I thank all of you. I thank Mr. Gillier for leading the way and taking the baton, as he spoke of, and running with the vision. To Kenny Sunshine and the Sunshine Agency, which have taken great care of me. It's not a mistake, but it's destiny that brought us together. To Dave Koz, my Jewish brother, my soul brother. He think he knows. He think he was raised in the Black Community Church, right? I love you and I appreciate you, and I'm going with Dave. He has these cruises, and we've been friends for almost 25, 30 years, and he's had these cruises for about 30 years, and now he invited me to go to the first one. Shows our friendship is very deep. Well, I could go on and on. Steve McKeever, and Marion, and all these wonderful people who have played such a great part in my life. I thank you. It is important to me to concentrate on one of the words that's in this award, and that's the living. That word, living. It's important to me to continue to take what God has given me and tell everyone that you were born with a purpose and born with a destiny. I received a lot of compliments today for what I'm wearing, and so it would just be great for me to introduce the man who put me together today.
Mr. Murat. Stand up, Mr. Murat, and his wife Lynn. I love you guys. You got a lot of compliments today. Thank you, and God bless you.
Now, BB, we want you to know they can play Born for This. Our musical directors. Oh, come to the show where you can do 1 or 2 lines. Come on, BB, help us out. And this one, where's my musical director at? Can I hear a musical director? What do we got?
She said she'll hold me.
We'll hold it.
Born for the key you in. Born for this, destined for greatness. Am I prepared for this? Not gonna sing the whole song. Your strength for my weakness. From their lives not always easy. May question if it's worth the risk. Follow your heart and it will lead you. And yes, we are born for this.
Mr. B.B. Winans, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. B.B. Winans. Leslie Slice.
What a treat, what a treat. Please now join me in welcoming the U.S. Postmaster here in the great city of Los Angeles, Mr. Joe Zapata. He will unveil this year's Heritage Stamp, and can Ernestine Gordon and B.B. Winans come up to join us in the picture, please.
Afternoon. As Postmaster of LA, it's my privilege to present the 42nd stamp in our Black Heritage Series. This year, we honor Gregory Hines. Gregory Hines is honored for his unique style of tap dancing. Tap dancing injected a new artistry and excitement into the traditional American form. A versatile performer who danced, acted, sang on Broadway, television, and in movies, Hines developed the entertainment traditions of tap into an art form for younger generations, and is credited with renewing the tap dancing in the 1990s. The stamp features a 1988 photograph by Jack Mitchell that shows a smiling Hines on one knee in a red blazer and gray pants. I'll remember that picture, with 1 foot raised to show the taps on the bottom of his shoe. Art director Derry Knowles designed the stamp. The Gregory Hines stamp is issued as a forever stamp and will always be equal in value to first-class postage. Please visit our table and be the first to have a pane of Gregory Hines stamps.
like another extended program. I won't be here to see it. Maybe extended. Always extended program. All right. These are black folk and it's maybe church. That's it. Three false attempts. Right. See, I never took a turn. No. Been doing it for 37 years. Never took a class. Self-taught. Worked for the president, all those other people.